Canada's Indigenous peoples are marking a momentous moment, a day of closure and celebration for many. Precious cultural items, thought lost in the vaults of the Vatican, are back on home soil, a full century after they were given up. We've been bringing you extended coverage of the story all day, and this is a look at the scene a little earlier at a snowy Trudeau International Airport in Montreal as the dozens of items were offloaded in front of a delegation of Indigenous leaders, the culmination of 3 long years of intense negotiations working with 2 popes and their officials. The repatriation seen as a positive step on the journey to reconciliation, but it is also just the beginning of an even bigger effort to bring home thousands of other Indigenous objects from Rome. CBC's Sarah Levitt has been on the story for us today, watching those Indigenous items return to Trudeau International Airport. So Sarah, we've been hearing from the Indigenous and political leaders in the last hour who were involved in bringing this moment to this point. What did they have to say?
Well, obviously, for them, it was important to highlight the significance of this. You were speaking about it being historic, and that word was used several times throughout the news conference. But first, I really want to talk about when this plane arrived and they were greeted on the tarmac by Indigenous leaders as people came off the plane and watched as the 62 cultural objects were unloaded from the plane. And you know, it was an emotional moment. There were many different ceremonies held throughout that time. One of the Indigenous youths that was on the plane that made the trip here came off and immediately went into the arms of the Assembly of First Nations Grand Chief to give her a hug, but also to cry. And so I think those two things, getting a hug and comfort and also crying, shows you just about how much emotion is out there because of what happened today. Now, just to remind people, of course, there were 62 cultural objects in all. We don't know all of them, but we do know of one particular one that's an Inuit sealskin kayak, which is one of the most mediatized items for sure. And it was the last to come off the plane in its own cargo box. And then, of course, they came past customs and they held a news conference to talk about the significance of this moment. We heard throat singing. We had a Métis fiddler performance. And of course, we heard from all 3 Indigenous leaders, but also others as well. Let's hear first, though, from Cindy Woodhouse and Nepinak, who had a lot to say about not only the significance, but about what else is to come.
This is an important and emotional moment for many First Nations across this country. And I hope it will also be an important moment for all Canadians to consider the history and the future of this country. It's so important that we begin to work together. I think we've come a long way and we have a long way to go. And reconciliation isn't one stop here. Reconciliation is every single day doing this work.
So the work continues, Sarah. What happens next?
Yeah, well, she spoke about it, that reconciliation is an ongoing thing. Part of what's going to happen now is obviously the items of First Nation, Inuit, and Métis provenance. They will go first to Gatineau and in the Canadian Museum of History, where they'll be examined by people at the museum there to make sure that everything is all right. Now, the next step, of course, is finding a home for these objects. We know 14 were Inuit and 47 were from First Nations. Let's hear about what the hopes are for next.
We're looking forward to being able to unbox the items in the coming days and to have Inuit leadership and Inuit experts understand exactly where these items come from in each of our communities, and to share that knowledge not only with Canadian Inuit, but also with Canada as a whole. We are pleased that we are on this journey, not only with our communities, but also with this country.
So this is obviously just one step in a long journey, but it was a major step today, Natasha.
Levitt at Montreal's Trudeau International Airport. Thank you, Sarah.